So, Sandy, I had one of the most amazing things happen today. We have a store here called Aldi's. Do you guys have one there in Australia?
Yes, I love it. Yeah, absolutely love it.
My
My
favorite
favorite.
store. Yeah. So, I'm at Aldi's today and I had like this beautiful experience. I was getting my groceries, I got them paid for them. I'm at the counter, packing them up. And all of a sudden, I had this very strong nudge. And the words were, "You have to go back to the cashier." And I literally stood there and looked around going, I have to go back to the cashier. And then I'm thinking, oh God, are you nudging me? You're nudging me to do something right now. And it came again so strong, you have to go back to the cashier. So I just went, okay. So I leave my stuff and go and stand in front of the cashier and I'm just staring at her. And as I'm staring at her, I can see two older ladies, elderly. Turns out one of them was 92 and the other was probably her daughter
Wow.
in her 70s. They had their few items. And in my head, as I'm staring at the cashier, in my head, I'm thinking, I wonder if that is hard for them to pay for those items each week, if that's something that they do, because you could tell it's the bare necessities that they're getting. And I started getting this, all worked up inside, in my heart, I guess. And
Yeah.
as I'm doing this, I'm staring at the cashier and she goes, "Can I help you?" And I just looked at her and I said, "I think I'm supposed to pay for these ladies' groceries." And
Wow.
she says, "Okay, so you think you are?" And I just kind of went, "No, I'm pretty sure I am supposed to pay for these ladies' groceries." And she goes, "This is just so amazing." So we're whispering. She goes, "This is so amazing. Okay, I'll give you a nod when I'm done ringing them up." So I go back and I'm pretending to pack my bags as I keep looking over to the cashier. And I finally catch the nod and I walk over and she says the total to the first lady who was the elderly, the one in her 90s. And she's got her money in her hand. And I just kind of literally just walked in between her and the other lady, had my card in my hand and swiped my card. And she's going, "No, no. What are you doing? No, no." And she's getting all, worked up. And I looked at her and I said, "God is telling me to pay for your groceries today. And so this is what I'm doing." And she's just, "No, no." And then, when she realized, I said, "I can't argue with God." And she just started hugging me and crying.
Oh,
I'm getting tears in my eyes, trying not to cry because by now I'm holding the line up. There's other people, the line is getting longer. So I turned to the other elderly lady who was probably her daughter, I'm assuming in her mid 70s maybe. And she had four or five items. And I looked at her items and I looked at her and she goes, "That was just the sweetest thing, the most sweetest thing. Thank you so much." And God bless her, she's 92 years old. And I went, "No, I'm paying for yours too." And she goes, "Oh, no, you are not. No, you are not." And so I leaned into her and I went, "Are you going to argue with God? Because he's telling you to do this. And I know when I try and argue with him, I never win." And she goes, "No, we're not going to argue with God." So she starts crying. She hugs me. The other lady, now they're both hugging on me and they're both crying. I'm, obviously holding up the line. I'm trying so hard not to cry. So I get my stuff. I'm getting all worked up now. I get my stuff and I go home and I'm sitting on my back porch and my heart was just overflowing. And I was so thankful that I followed God's nudge because I
wow.
don't know what that may mean to those two ladies. And
Absolutely.
and honestly, to be completely honest, I'm in a spot where I probably should not, I can't afford to pay for other people's groceries. I shouldn't be doing it, but I couldn't not. And it was so clearly said to me, "You got to go back and talk to the cashier." And so, I did that. And I am not sharing this with you to brag in any way, in any way. But it was just such an amazing experience because it just slammed my heart so hard. All I wanted to do was sit on my porch and just start crying, just start sobbing. Not a bad thing,
Yes.
not in a bad way, but it was just my heart was overflowing that I was able to do that, and I know I'm going to be okay. You know,
Yeah.
it's not breaking the bank me doing that, but I'm so frugal about money right now. You know, I'm counting every penny. I'm just very frugal right now. And
Yeah.
I did that, and I'm like, uh, I was supposed to. I was put in that place at that time for a reason, and I think that those ladies needed that today. And we often, you and I, as we're talking, quite often lately, we're always talking about we got to find the good and be the good.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely.
And I said, oh gosh, I'm going to start crying. This is just this is ridiculous. It really had an impact on me today. I'm telling you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm sitting on my
Absolutely.
porch and I literally yelled and thought of you because we keep saying it all the time lately. I literally
Yeah.
yelled, "Find the good, be the
Yeah,
good."
amazing. That's because that's exactly what you were doing in that moment. And, there was no conscious thought, as far as I can tell from what you've told me, that leading up to going out, that you were thinking, I'm going to look for an opportunity to
No, I
find the
was
good
rushing.
and be the good. You just were open to listening to that voice, internal voice that spoke to you at that time and gave you an instruction and dropped in that little nugget of goodness into your mind and into your heart. And you listened to that, and there was no, like, as you said, like, there's no logic in what you did. Both of those women had money ready to pay for their groceries, but that wasn't the point to what was happening. It was a display of generosity on your part that was, they couldn't refuse. they
Yeah.
they couldn't refuse. And it was from one person's heart, a complete stranger, from one person's heart to another person, to say, I don't know you, I don't know what's going on in your life right now, but I've just been prompted to have a connection with you today and to do something good for you. And I think that's absolutely amazing, because it's exactly the sort of thing that we've been talking about. And I am verging on tears, because that is the whole purpose behind what we've been talking about, is that amazing heart centered connection that you have with people. Because we're so disconnected in society today, and everybody just sort of goes about their lives, and we don't have enough opportunity for connection. And finding, like, seeking those opportunities is what we need to, as you say, fill up, to refill, to overflow. Because in that moment when you were giving it, you weren't actually depleting yourself in doing that. You've explained where
Yep.
you're at financially, and that the money's not, you're not like, just haven't got oodles and oodles of money to throw around and be this generous benefactor to people left, right and center. But it was on your heart to do that in that moment, and you just trusted
Yep.
that. And in giving that, the exchange manifested like 100-fold, not only in those women's lives, because they were so touched by your kindness, but by all the people that witnessed that as well. And and you came home and you were overflowing. So what you did, you know you were replenished because of it. And this is the whole point of being willing to give and to be generous. It's not that we do it consciously because we're seeking to like fill ourselves up, and it's
Right.
not that, but that, this is the natural state of what life
Should
could
be.
be like and should be like,
Right.
but we've got things messed up,
Yeah.
and it's time to turn things around again and start getting things right. And I just absolutely love that you did that today, and it's
It's
just an
definitely,
absolute inspiration.
it's time to feel the good and be the good, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thanks for letting me share. I know this wasn't on our plan of chat today, but I could not share that because I mean, it's evening where I'm at now. It's, 8 o'clock at night here, and I did this, this morning, and still, it's still a good thing.
Yeah, and you've it's a good thing that you've given to me too, Kim, because I feel amazing for having heard. I'm so inspired. I am so inspired by that. Well, I think we better let's stop recording now, and I think we need to share this